In September 2020, I had a meeting with the assistant haematologist and a lymphoma nurse specialist after they had received the results of a CT scan which confirmed the mantle cell lymphoma had returned. At this meeting, at which my wife and I were present, I was told the prognosis, which would be that my mobility would decline within 6 to 8 weeks, and I would probably then only have 3 to 6 months left. And obviously I did make the odd investigation, but I find that the more you read about it, the less actually you understand. So I just know that my lymphoma has come back. There's no further treatment. I accept that, and I'll just wait and see patiently to see what does happen. When we were first told, it was at a meeting which was our normal 4-monthly meeting, and we were called in, and they'd received the CT scan. I must admit it was a shock because we weren't expecting that, and I wasn't expecting them to suddenly stop rituximab, which I'd had for 7 years, could be stopped overnight. But they did say that there was nothing further could be done, that it was just a matter of time before my mobility would decline, and then 3 to 4 months left. Now that was told to me at the end of September. So here we are. We're 2 months through. Yes, I have slowed, but I'm being very positive, and I will go for the odd walk, and I enjoy doing that. My family has been, obviously, we're very shocked at the findings, but they've been extremely supportive, and they do visit on a regular basis, albeit in the garden. Medical team, they're in direct contact with me should I want them, and I can telephone them at any time. Physical changes I've noticed is that the lymph gland in my neck has swollen up, and also the lymph nodes in my upper chest and my lower abdomen, but they don't hurt. They're just, I'm aware of the fact they're there, but there's no pain from them whatsoever. So at this point, the palliative care team have said, you know, if you're feeling low, then give them a ring. If there's any problems, just give them a ring. We'll take it from there. They came here and we had a discussion, and they were extremely professional and sensitive in the situation, as they're on hand 24/7 to help us through the next stage. My wife and I, we've redone our wills, and we've discussed power of attorney, but it's not needed because everything is in joint names, and obviously all the provisions will probably be not needed. We've made funeral plans. The only thing we haven't done is dug out the photographs for the order of service. The time I spend each day, now I've obviously got to the situations, I either do some art, which I do enjoy, or I play bridge online a couple of times a week, or I go for a short walk and do some work in the garden. So I do try and vary it. I find that with COVID, yes, it is nice to be at home, but it's nice if I have the odd visitors or the children come in, and it's nice to go for a walk. We're very fortunate, we're only 200 yards from the beach, so if we do want to go for a walk along the beach, we can do, and it's around the block basically. When I was at school and I was 14, I was useless at art, and I suddenly did 2 paintings which the art mistress said, "You've got it after all these years," she said, "and you're not taking your GCSE." So she said, "May I have them to put them in an exhibition?" So I did. Well, when I was about 35, I had quite a demanding job, and I went along to the local school in Southend and said, "I'd like to do art," and I actually got a B in art. So that meant a lot to me, and that's when it took off. But then after about 35 years break of it, I've gone back to it, and I'm finding it so satisfying. What inspires me is that I see the odd photograph come through on Facebook, and I thought, oh, that looks nice, so I'll copy it down and then I'll paint it. I've got to the point now where a friend of mine wanted one of a sailing yacht with 2 people on it. I did that for him, and he wants to hang it on the wall as a memory of us both. My favourite subjects are either birds, trees or water, so I tend to flit around those. When I'm doing my art, I do find that all of a sudden for 2 hours it's a completely different world, and I'm just there creating something which, you know, I can't believe sometimes that I've actually done it, and when I'm finished with it, I think, oh, that's better than I thought it was going to be. So therefore, it then moves me on to the next subject. We were very involved with the lymphoma support, which we used to meet at the local church. I took it over from somebody else who had been unwell, and it was down to me to find the speakers. And some of the speakers I found were just unbelievable. When one particular man, he speaks in a Churchillian accent, and they thought it was Winston Churchill talking. And then I've had others come along, and they've just spoken about their life, and they just love to hear it. And I must admit, I do miss that. We always used to have seafood in the garden in the summer, and there'd be about 20 to 25 of them come across to our garden and have seafood, and they would love it. And they're looking forward to next year. So obviously that's the kind of thought I have. I'm going to be there for the next meeting. My family is very supportive and encouraging. They're there every day for me, should I wish. They either come and see me or give me a telephone and ask how am I doing, Dad. I always keep them up to date. If I've done any art, I text it to them and say that's the art for today, and that pleases them that I've done something. They know that I go for the odd walk, and they know that I go in the garden. But the point is that they're there should I need them. My original video was 8 or 9 years ago, and I'd seen other people's, and I'd seen the number of visitors that had been to it. And when I showed it to my family, they said, Dad, I don't believe you did that. It's wonderful. And I thought, well, if they're learning from that, if I can then do another one on this last journey, if it helps other people, that's more important. Be positive, find an interest, and have faith. As far as I'm concerned, I'm going to go forward being positive all the time. If somebody was to ask me what they should do if they were in a similar situation to I am, I would say be extremely positive, find an interest, don't be afraid to talk about it if anybody asks, and just be, you know, there for anybody else along the way.